So you are a actor, you're a producer, yeah? You're an artist, you're a wrestler, you are all these things.
Yeah.
And how have you been feeling lately?
You know, actually, like, I feel like I'm just so, like, I don't realize how it looks from the outside looking in. Like, bro, you are so peculiar. You know, like when I tell people, like, or just, you know, about, like, what I do, or I was actually thinking about this the other day, like, how did I get here? Like, how did I get into all these different avenues, and, like, why am I so, like, just different, you know? I think it's just the way I grew up. I grew up, like, in an African household, Muslim family, you know, it's been different from the jump, you know, and, like, I didn't realize, like, how much as a kid, just, like, I never saw normal things. When I was, like, very, very little, like, up till I was, like, 6 years old, like, when both my parents were together, like, they were very, like, strict on, like, you know, sticking to, like, you know, Islam and going to the mosque and stuff like that. But once my parents split up, I was living with my mom, and it was more of my dad that was pushing it. Like, she was still Muslim, but, like, she didn't, like, make us, you know, do certain things. And, like, so I was just in this, like, floaty, like, what am I, you know? And then once I got to, like, 16, got to this place of, like, I don't believe in religion, I believe in God, you know? And, you know, it just kind of one thing led to another. Growing up African was super different, too, because, you know, I'm black, obviously, and, like, all throughout high school and, like, just my life, people are like, you talk white, you know, like, you know, you have grammar, you know, but, like, but I talk white because, like, I can't speak African, you know? My whole family, you know, like, my whole family's African, you know? They're not, like, your typical, you know, like, black family, you know? So, like, they're all, like, it smells like African food in my house. They got goat skin in the kitchen, and, like, you know, it's just so different, you know? And, like, I was born in America, you know? So, like, I've been to Africa, but, like, you know, I was never, like, I'm in this weird middle of, like, I'm the first generation of Americans in my family, so, like, I didn't grow up around, you know, like, things that, like, Kobe may have grown up around, or, like, you know. It's crazy because, like, how it just came together. I started making music in high school, but I never, like, not really many people knew. I never promoted it. I didn't even, like, release anything, but I just started actually, like, writing raps. It was just like that era when, like, all these 16-year-old rappers were blowing up.
Yeah.
And I always liked music, and I was like, dang, like, they can do it, I can do it. You know, but, like, I just didn't really, like, know what I was doing quite yet, but I just kind of started writing and stuff. And then after we graduated, me and Kobe got linked up through, like, mutual friends, and we've known each other since, like, 7th grade, but even then, like, we weren't, like, ever really close. High school, like, we knew of each other. We knew each other, like, if we saw each other, like, what's up, bro, what's up, bro? Yeah. But it was just that. We had mutual friends. Like, I had no idea that Kobe would be my brother, you know? Like, I never would have thought. So how Pretty Faces started, we had made our first ever song. It was called Love Anthem. And we were at, what was that restaurant called? Arizona Mexican Cafe. Yeah, it's by, like, 71st and Sheridan. I remember, like, we were thinking, we should just be a duo. We're like, yeah. And Kobe had a hoodie on that said Pretty Faces. And we're like, how about Pretty Faces? We're like, yeah. So it was, like, accidental, like, we didn't think much of it. And then, like, yeah. But it started off with modeling. Like, me and Kobe really got close through modeling. Me, him, and Derek, they would just book us all and, like, ask us all to shoot. We'd go on our own shoots with Benji and stuff. But then, like, I don't know, every time we were modeling, like, we'd always just be like, man, we want to make music. Like, that's what we really wanted to do. Like, we still loved modeling, but, like, we had that itch, you know? So wrestling was actually, like, my first dream, like, my first love. Like, when I was, like, in 7th grade, like, I watched Rey Mysterio for the first time, and, like, I was like, okay, like, this is what I want to do. And, like, throughout high school, like, it never went away. I was always, like, a big wrestling fan. I didn't tell anyone because, you know, I thought it was nerdy. You know, I was like, yeah, nobody can relate. You know, like, so I didn't think I would ever, like, really do it, you know, but, like, I had a plan, though. I was like, I think, like, I'm gonna be like either a rapper or a pro wrestler, one of those two. Like I was like one or the other, you know. And then when we started modeling and making music, I kind of like shied away, and I was like, okay, it looks like I'm gonna be a rapper and model, you know, like that's cool. It was crazy because like we were big fans, but then like slowly like when we started getting into modeling and like first started Pretty Faces, like slowly fading away from wrestling. But then during COVID, we were just locked in the house. Me, Kobe, Derek would just be like locked in the house every day. We'd just be kicking it, and like Kobe had WWE 2K, was it 2K19?
2K20.
2K.
And 21.
Yeah, so like he just had the games, and we're just like cool. Like we would just be playing, and it was just so nostalgic playing the games, and like we were playing the games so much that we ended up buying the WWE Network. We were like, damn, we gotta watch some. Like this is cool. And I knew for me, like it came back then. I was like, and then kind of like all of us, we were just like, man, like we need to do this. Like we got to do this, yeah, and like. So, and like for me, since like I know that was like my first dream, like I felt like that moment was God like bringing it back. Like it was kind of like that confirmation, like this is gonna be in your life. Yeah. Like you have a future in this. Derek started working at Elote, and the manager of Elote owns a wrestling promotion, and he's just like he's in the industry, in the business, and we just got connected through that, and then one thing led to another. Now, like I'm proud, like you know, it's art. Yeah. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, like wrestling is just art. I think it's really just God, you know, like having control of my heart, like allowing me to just be real with myself and be like, bro, like I'm at an age and a point in my life where I'm just like, I like what I like, and I'm not sorry. You know, like if you don't think what I think is cool, like, oh well, you know, like. Like, it doesn't really matter, you know? So, like, I think at the time, like, I was just in high school, and I was just like, oh, I'm trying to fit in, like, you know? I'd be in class, like, watching highlight videos of, like indie wrestling, and then, like, but I'd just be covering just in case someone would be like, bro, what are you watching, you know? Like, but now, yeah, bro, I just, even, like, when that passion came back, like, we didn't hide it at all. Like, we'd be, like, pretty open about it. We'd be like, yeah, we're gonna be wrestlers. We would tell people, they're like, yeah, all right, you know, like... God put these passions and these burning desires in our heart for a reason. You know, like the stuff that really like that we think about, you know, like without letting it become an idol, you know, like, but these are like in our hearts for a reason. A lot of times, you know, like we overthink like social media, especially like as a Christian artist, like you kind of unintentionally feel entitled to success. You're like, okay, I'm making music for God, so it's gonna pay off. You know, like our music has made little to no money, you know. We'll drop, you know, like a passion project that we spent months on, and like we look like 40 plays, you know, and like it used to be very disheartening, very discouraging, but now like it's just like it's not for everybody, but those 40 who it was for, I really hope they can relate to it, you know, and like if that's all there is, that's okay. The other day, we submitted our song to this guy who was, you know, like reviewing music, you know, and they ripped it apart. They were like, yeah, they were just like, oh, nah, you know, just pretty much just, yeah, like not what we expected, you know, and we were just kind of like, it's not for everybody, you know, and it's not worth tripping over. Even if it gets no plays, I'm like, I know this is one of the hardest songs I've ever heard in my life. And I know that we produced it, and I know that, you know, like, so like, I'm just like, no matter what, like, anybody says, I'm just like, I love it. And of course, there's certain seasons and times where you feel like, slow down, speed up, but like, for the most part, you know, like, I feel like, yeah, like, when you stop looking at it through the lens of other people, you know, it's freedom, like you said, you know, there's so much freedom. And it's really overwhelming, overstimulating, so to say. You know, I feel like I don't know what's next, like all the time, because anything could be next, because like everything is right in front of me. Like, oh dang, you know, like just shot this short film, but like, oh man, about to drop an album. Dang, I got to wrestle a match today. It's really exciting, but a lot of times it's just like, wow, like I'm just moving so fast, and like it's very hard to stop and smell the roses. You know, like so that's like the little like downside of it. But like again, that's all in my control. Like how I react to it, how I, you know, treat it and steward it. You know, it's a culture shock. I try my hardest not to be like not to look at it two different ways and just act different in both settings, or oh, I'm with pretty faces, I have to be extra holy now. Or, it's really different though. Like wrestling, I try to be really conscious about just being the light in the wrestling world, even if it's just something simple like being in the locker room. Tons of injuries in wrestling. Someone's like, my knee, can I pray for you real quick? You know, like they don't hear that a lot in wrestling. You know, even when I'm uncomfortable, like I try my best to look for the peace. You know, that I know is attainable, because you know, like I know He's with me, and I'm telling myself like, I don't belong here. I'm out of place, and then God's like, no, like you're here for a reason. You know, if you didn't belong here, like you wouldn't be here. You know, like you're uncomfortable, but like it's okay. You know, it's very easy to step off your morals, step off of the, you you have to step out of yourself and like, hey, I gotta fit in for a second, you know. But God, but yeah, it's I try my best to just not be like one side of me, the other side of me, and just be, hide nothing and be like, it feels good, bro. It's really just blessed that I'm doing what makes me happy. Because I remember when I wasn't, when I was trying to like be something I wasn't, and when I was like 16, 17, I was in this whole like place of, okay, I don't really know where I'm at, but I believe in God. I believe there's something. I wouldn't even say I believed in God, because I believed in like a God, I was like, there's something, I'm not sure, but I wanted to believe in God. My soul wanted to. 2019, like right before COVID / during COVID, just pretty much fell into a whole bunch of like new age deceptions, and that's how they get you, like, because it feels peaceful. It feels like, oh, okay, this is something, like I found something, like, but yeah, we got into like, we started meditating like slowly, and we started just like looking more into about it, got into astrology, and like, it was crazy because we felt peace, we felt like what we were doing was right, and like, we would see 222, 333, 555. We're like, okay, this is for a reason, and like it just felt spiritual, it felt like, okay, like this is, God, and so pretty much, yeah, we got really into it. We started just taking psychedelics and going here, going there. But then one day, Kobe's girlfriend at the time, she texts us, me, Kobe, Derek, in a group chat. Because it was me, Kobe, and Derek. Like, we all were going through this together. And Benji as well. We're all going through this together. And she texts us in a group chat, and she's like, hey, guys, I got something to tell you. We're like, all right, And she was like, and she pulls up to the house. She's like, I got to show you guys a video. Like, what we're doing is bad. The meditating, all this. We're just like, what? Like, so we watch like a random New Age to Jesus testimony. And mind you, too, it's kind of funny because like we were high out of our minds at the time. Like, so we were high out of our minds, and we're getting all this information, and we're just like, oh my gosh, like, and it's crazy how like Jesus like met us where we were, being high out of our minds, after months of walking this whole other direction, doing demonic things unintentionally, just being deceived, like we just felt the Spirit of God in that room, like just hit us, and like we like repented right then and there, gave our lives to Jesus right then and there, and it was just like, wow, like it was kind of like, it just really felt like, now you know the truth. It's either you're gonna walk with me or you're not. But to answer like the original question of like how like the transition was from Islam to that, after a certain age, I kind of like didn't really feel like I was in Islam because I wouldn't practice it, like, so yeah, I just kind of like, I was like, all right, like I never thought I'd say this, but like I remember telling my mom like I never thought I'd say this, but like I believe in Jesus Christ, like, and she was, at first she was really just like, no, like you can't because you're Muslim, like, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't work like that though, like, she was very confused at first, and she thought it was just a phase, I can tell, but she saw like real change in me, and like she like just accepted it, and yeah, it's very crazy. I don't think about that a lot, like, but yeah, and like because of that, because I knew I came from like where I came from, the New Age, Islam. There's so many reasons why we're not supposed to be here. Like, there's so many reasons on paper, you know, that I'm not supposed to be in the position I am. You know, like, this didn't just coincidentally happen. I didn't just wake up one day like, I'm Christian now, you know, like, I was so far from Jesus, you know. All the odds were stacked against me, so to say, you know, and it's just like, he's still like, so I know there's purpose in my life, you know. It feels just, I just know I'm supposed to be here, and, you know, I'm just enjoying just the art of it. It's such like a thing to say, but like, nah, I feel like life is just art if you let it be. Like, when I'm at work, you know, like I said before, like serving at Pub W isn't my, you know, wasn't what I was dreaming of when I was 7 years old. I was thinking the other day at work, I was like, this can be art if I let it be.
Yeah.
You know, like the way you greet your table, the way you know, serve, the way you set your drinks, like the way you dress, like everything's just art, you know, because God is an artist, you know, like if you're doing the things you do for a certain outcome, then like, why are you doing it? Yeah. Like, unless that outcome is just because, like, just to be fulfilled, you know, like, but even so, you won't find fulfillment in like what you do, you know, like, it's just what you do, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a musician. Those are just things I do. You know, I'm Ashad. I'm a child of God, you know? I'm a servant, you know, like.
That's a bar
it's hard,
right
it's
there.
hard to, and like, bro, like, it's crazy because I'm not thinking, this is not how, like, I think every single day. Like, I try to, you know, but like, we're human, you know? We're young, we're in our 20s, but like, I know though, like, deep down, like, you know, it's a blessing just to do these things.
Yeah.
It's just art, you know, just enjoy it.
I'm curious about like Cap and the different.
I know that was a long answer.
No, that's great.
But
That's great.